Hello everyone and welcome to Noodle Journey, your destination for detailed and informative reviews of the instant noodle universe. Today I've got something from Indomie that I had a while back before I started this channel, and I thought it was time to give it a proper review. This is Indomie mee Goreng barbecue chicken flavor. Before we get started, please remember to like and share and subscribe to the channel. It helps keep these reviews going. Now, I've really slept on reviewing stuff from Indomie, and for that, I apologize. It kind of gets lost in the shuffle of all the other varieties I have in my queue, but I'm hoping to fix that going forward. So I grabbed some packs of Indomie's other exported varieties, like this one, because I always hear everybody talk about the regular mee goreng or the hot and spicy flavor, but there's not as much attention given to the other flavors here in the US, and yes, there are more of them. And beyond that, if all goes well with the contact I have in Southeast Asia, you may be seeing a lot more Indomie soon. So let's rectify the lack of Indomie on this channel by reviewing this barbecue chicken flavor. And I found this at one of the last places you'd expect, Burlington. As in the place that used to be called Burlington Coat Factory in the USA. Yeah, they actually sell instant noodles now. They carry products from companies like Indomie, Paldo, Ibumi, Asha, and Wei Li, just to name a few that I saw when I was there. So if you've got a Burlington near you and you want to score some noodles, check them out. I got a 5-pack of the barbecue chicken Indomie for $3.99, which is about the same as what they cost in an Asian market. And the prices for their other noodles were pretty competitive too. As I mentioned at the very beginning, I did have a single pack of this once upon a time, maybe 3 years ago, but I couldn't tell you a thing about it other than I remember it being good. I don't really recall how it compares to the original mee goreng flavor, so let's just get talking about the ingredients and we'll find out together. I have heard that this recipe may have changed recently, so hopefully they didn't mess anything up. This was manufactured and purchased very recently, so I do have a new version of this export flavor. This is extremely hard to read, but the sodium for this pack is 870 milligrams, which is really reasonable for a pack of instant noodles. This is on the small side, but if you're hungry, you could reasonably make 2 of these and still come in under your daily recommended allowance, and you'd still have some room for other things like toppings, if that's something you'd want to do. No judgment. Okay, and inside the pack, if you're already a fan of mee goreng, this should look pretty familiar. We've got these wonderful Indomie fried noodles and 5 different packets of goodies to put on top of them. So we've got a seasoning oil containing palm oil, garlic, and shallot, a sweet soy sauce with some sesame oil in it, chili sauce, a seasoning powder containing sugar, salt, MSG, artificial chicken flavoring, garlic, and white pepper, and a pack of fried shallots, which are always awesome. This pack looks to be vegan, but please check for yourself before buying. And if you've never had mee goreng before, you're going to boil these noodles for 3 minutes and then mix in all of these packets to your taste. So I'll go cook the noodles right now and be right back to assemble the sauce. Okay, here's the noodles. Let's start putting some of this stuff in. One of the things that comes up a lot on Reddit is what's the best way to get the liquid out of these pouches because it always makes a mess. And the answer is scissors. So what I'm going to do is actually separate these 3 right in the middle here of each one and then cut them open individually. I've experimented with Indomie a lot of times. That seems to be the best way to not make a mess out of these. And it should also go without saying that you shouldn't cut too close to either side of the liquid, otherwise you risk having a major spillage out of the side. All right, that's the seasoning oil. Smells really nice, very oniony. All right, the sweet soy sauce is next. Now the chili sauce. If you dislike some of these, you don't have to add them all in. You just omit the ones you don't like and customize this bowl of noodles to your heart's content. All right, that chili sauce is kind of like a salty sambal oelek. And for this last two right here, let's do the powder on this side. A strong white pepper aroma coming out of the powder. And I'm guessing that's going to be one of the main differences between this and the regular Indomie mee goreng flavor. Let's get this a quick stir now, and we'll get those shallots on top as the garnish. Okay, that's pretty well stirred together. Put the shallots on. I know some of you may be yelling at me right now that, oh, you're supposed to mix the sauces together in the bowl before you put the noodles in. Yeah, I've done it both ways. It really doesn't matter as long as you do it fast enough so that the noodles aren't like totally stuck together. Completely fine for you to do it after the fact. And I know that's probably sacrilege to somebody, but here we are. Okay, so what I'm smelling here is a much more garlicky version of mee goreng, which I'm totally okay with. There's probably going to be some other subtleties with the flavor, so let me just dig in and we'll find out. Okay, and I have my answer, but first let's talk about the noodles. I said way back in my original review, I think the bang for your buck with mee goreng is unbeatable. This stuff is so cheap, but the quality is so good. These noodles are on the thin side, but they have a great chew, a great texture. They stick to the sauce perfectly. Obviously, Indomie has had years to perfect this formula, and I think these noodles are great for the budget noodle category that they are. So 7 out of 10 for the noodles. As far as the spiciness, I don't think this is really any hotter than the original mee goreng flavor is. I ranked that at a 3 out of 10 in my review. I think that's about what this one is. If you buy a jar of sambal at your Asian market and you use that on a regular basis, this is basically the exact same level of heat as an average sambal oelek. The fact that it's in an oil form means that it, gives you a little more tingle on your lips when you slurp it, but I'm keeping this score at a 3 out of 10, just like the original, for spiciness. And so now the overall flavor. What makes this different from regular mee goreng? What does this taste like? It's far more savory, garlicky, and peppery than original mee goreng. Those are the three main things I'm taking away from it. It's way less sweet than the original, even though there is that sweet soy sauce in it. It seems to be a smaller portion. Perhaps it's flavored a little bit differently. But yeah, if you love a zesty, strong umami, salty garlic flavor, then this is the mee goreng you want to buy. I think this is terrific. Unfortunately, my memory is not good enough to go back and remember if this is how it tasted to me 3 years ago. I'm sorry, I can't recall. I wasn't planning an instant noodle channel at that point, so my brain wasn't really operating in the mode of, hey, commit to memory what this is. I remember I liked it back then. I know I like it now. If the recipe has changed, I can't say, but I don't find this recipe in any way offensive. I think it's got a great flavor to it. And while I think the original mee goreng is no slouch, I think the hot and spicy is no slouch, this ranks right beside them for me as something I would very much put into the rotation alongside either of those two flavors. So just like all the Indomie that's come before it, I'm going to score this at a 9 out of 10. It's a bolder flavor than you might expect. If you prefer your noodles to be more on that side of things than on the sweet side, or maybe if the sweetness of the other mee goreng flavors is just a little too much for you, then I think you should give this one a try. All right, and with that, another great product from Indomie. If you love the original or hot and spicy flavors and want something a little different, this is a great choice. It tweaks the formula well enough to keep things interesting and makes for a tasty and satisfying snack or meal if you doctor it up. Let me know in the comments if you've tried this one and where it ranks for you. Like I said at the beginning, more Indomie reviews will come eventually, I promise, including some soup varieties that you may not know exist. I'm going to sign off for now so I can go devour this, and I hope to see you on the next episode of Noodle Journey.